Hey guys, I thought I'd do a video update on the Audi service. I'm going to do one on the Jaguar service as well. There's a couple of things that I just want to mention there on the ownership of the Jag since I've had it. It's been about a year and a half since I've had the Jag now, and it too is not a brand new car. So I guess if you're thinking of buying a used Jaguar XF, that information will help you. If you're thinking of buying a used Audi B5, don't. No, I don't want to say that. I actually enjoy the Audi. I really do. I love this car. It does want a lot of attention. When these cars get older, they do want a lot of attention. But I think the same can be said for any other car. I must say, you know, you get different brands of cars. Like Jaguar was always known for electrical problems. They were known to be reliable. I think Jaguar has pretty much solved that. From an Audi perspective, I don't really know what Audis are known for, but all I can say is if anything could go wrong with this Audi, it has already, and I fixed it. The heater core packed up, that was done. The aircon evaporator was packed up, that was done. The engine had numerous oil leaks. I can't even mention all the oil leaks it had, but all those oil leaks were sorted out. Then trying to think of things that actually packed up. The battery was replaced last year. The car wouldn't start. It actually let me down on that one occasion. I'm just going to turn the car off. Trying to think what else went wrong. I have done some preventative maintenance on the car, like servicing the transmission, because I didn't want to have the transmission give me problems. You know, these Tiptronic Audi gearboxes, they are ZF, I think it's called a 5 HP 25 gearbox. I'm not sure on that, but I'll check up on that. It's a ZF gearbox, and I think they're pretty good gearboxes as long as you change the oil regularly, and that means, you know, every 45,000 kilometers or every 3 years, change the transmission fluid in the car and the oil filter that goes in the transmission, and you won't have any problems. If you find that your car's shifting very rough, or you find that when you're coming to a stop it doesn't want to go into first gear and it slips into neutral by itself. I had that on a VW Jetta years ago. That could be because there's sludge in your transmission oil, or just sludge in your transmission. So it's not really changing as it should. But I had the transmission serviced about 2 years ago, and I think it will probably need another one in, I don't know, maybe another year or so. But it changes smoothly. I mean, I've got the Jag that's got a 6-speed ZF transmission in it, and this car is as smooth as the Jag when it comes to, you know, shifting gears. If you drive the car more spiritedly, which I don't do in the Audi, but I have done it like 2 years ago. I drove the car on one occasion, more out of frustration than anything else. I was actually pissed off with the way other people were driving, so I put my foot down. I just wanted to get home, and I drove the car pretty hard, and I found that the next day the transmission had adapted to that shift program. It had switched to a more sporty shifting technique. It wasn't shifting rough, but it was hanging longer onto a gear and shifting down. When you would like tramp the brake pedal on a downhill, it would then shift up to a higher gear, you know, to use the engine braking to help you brake. It still does that, but not as much as it does when it's in the sport mode. You can put it in Tiptronic, which I do now and again if I feel that it's hanging too long onto a tall gear and I'm going up a hill. I'll shift manually from 5th to 4th or 4th to 3rd. And it works great. It really does. So other than that, the car's service went very well. I just want to mention that there was something earlier this year which did go wrong with the car, and I didn't do a video on it back then because I couldn't really solve the problem, and it was something that I was actually quite, I wouldn't say embarrassed about, but I didn't really want to talk about it because it really bugged me. And that is that the car had a vibration at freeway speeds. So if I got to around about 100 kilometers per hour on the highway, I mean, normally you start accelerating to get to the highway speeds, you know, otherwise other cars, you end up holding up the traffic. So the moment I would get to 95 kilometers per hour, the car would start shaking and shuddering, and the whole car, at 120, the whole car would be, and I'd be hanging onto the steering wheel, and the whole car would be jumping across the road. And I thought to myself, my God, what could be wrong? I couldn't figure it out, and I took the car to Audi Center initially. They had a look at it, and they said to me the tires were out of round. So I took the car to the tire shop. I went to Tiger Wheel and Tire, and I said to them, fit new tires. I had Hankooks on the car, and I had my BBS wheels in the car. That was late March when I eventually decided to get around to doing this. So I replaced the Hankook tires with another set of Hankook tires, and my old Hankooks had good tread on them. I would say they had about 70% tread still left on them, and so I replaced them. I drove back home on the highway. The vibration was worse. I then decided to replace the rims, the wheels. I bought RS6 wheels, and I thought, okay, maybe the wheels are at fault because I did hit a pothole with the BBS wheels, and maybe they didn't repair them properly. But that was months ago, and the car rode fine after I replaced or after I had the wheel repaired. It drove fine. There was no vibration. I never felt anything. So I thought, you know what, let me go on the Audi forums. And then the Audi forums were saying it could be an inner CV joint, it could be an outer CV joint, it could be a bent drive shaft. I then started doing homework on what it would take to replace the drive shafts of the car, and as far as I could see, that was going to be hell and gone expensive. I mean, we were looking at around about $500 for a drive shaft. Now, keep in mind my car's right-hand drive, not left-hand drive, so the left-hand drive ones you can get pretty cheap, and I'm not talking about the cheap Chinese ones. I'm talking about the ones that what do they call them? Raxels. They're pretty cheap, and they remanufacture them, but I couldn't get a set for my right-hand drive car. I had to buy a brand new set. Now, I went to the Audi dealer. They quoted me the equivalent of $2,000. I just couldn't think about it. I thought to myself, well, if it is the drive shafts, I'm going to get rid of the car. I'm just going to dump it. I'm going to scrap it, just, you know, sell it for parts. I don't know. I was trying to think of what I could do. I then decided, no, let me first concentrate on the tires, because even after I hit the pothole, I never had a vibration. Even with my rim being as bent as it was, there was no vibration. But I did replace the struts, all four struts. I replaced the front struts, I replaced in 2014, June. In June of last year, I replaced the rear struts. And the strut mountings and all those buffers and those rubber things that go around, I replaced the works, everything. So it had brand new struts front and rear. As far as I was concerned, they were Monroes. I had a 3-year warranty with them. I thought, that's good, great. And so I didn't suspect the struts to be faulty. I suspected the tires, because Audi Center said they think the tires were out of round. So I went back to the tire shop and I said, you know what, I bought these RS6 wheels now, and the vibration's still there, so I think it's the tires. So they fitted another set of Hankook tires, went out, test drove it, came back, said no, They took the Hancooks off. They then put Velocities on, which is a brand by Continental. I went through 5 sets of Velocity tires. I eventually just drove home after they fitted the 5th set. I just drove home. I was so upset. I wasn't prepared to even deal with this issue anymore. But then I realized, you know what, I have to deal with it because I can't drive the car on a highway. There's no way you can drive it like that. So I then went back to the tire shop. I said, you know what, these Velocities are not doing the trick for me. I need some other brand of tire. So they then said to me, you know what, you need to take those RS6 wheels off the car and put your genuine Audi wheels back on the car, because they didn't think it was the tires. They were suspecting the wheels to be faulty. I then took the car back to Concept Wheels, where I bought my RS6 wheels. They then swapped my brand new RS6 wheels out for a used set of RS4 wheels, which were scratched and scraped. I don't even want to say the word, but those are currently on the car. They look bad. Needless to say, when I actually found out that the struts were causing the issue, I couldn't get my RS6 wheels back because Concept Wheels had already sold them to somebody else. So I'm stuck with these RS4 wheels now. My BBS wheels were also sold, so I couldn't get those back. Now I'm stuck with these RS4 wheels in the car that are scraped to hell and gone. And even Audi Center said this week, they said, my God, why have you got these wheels in your car? They look terrible. And I said, well, this is what happened, you know, so I'm stuck with them until I think of replacing them sometime in the future. But as long as I've got these tires now, I've got Pirelli tires on the car, I've got RS4 wheels in the car, but it turned out the struts were what caused my car's vibration. They had failed, all 4 of them. I then went back. I had new struts fitted, Gabriel's. I then took my Monroe struts back to HiQ, who had fitted them for me in 2014 and in 2015 last year, the front and the rear. They then said they first had to send them back to their supplier. 2 weeks later, I followed up. They said to me, oh, we got your struts here and they've rejected your warranty claim. So I said, well, why did they reject my warranty claim? Because you gave me a 3-year warranty. They said, yeah, absolutely, you got a 3-year warranty. But there are tiny marks on, if you look at the strut, you look at the silver part of it, I don't know what they call it, but it's the part where it connects to the strut mounting at the top. Just where it connects to the strut mounting, there were 2 little marks on either side. And they said that it looked like I had taken a vice grip to the struts to check if they were good or not. And I said, well, I didn't. I took the car to Super Quick. They have a machine. You put the whole car in the machine. First you put the front of the car in the machine. This machine vibrates the entire car and it can then check. It simulates a bad road, in other words. And it turned out that all 4 struts only had 22% left of life on them. And this is why my car was vibrating at freeway speeds, because when you get to freeway speeds, your tires are not fully round. So, and even though they are balanced as best as they can be, your balancing goes out as soon as you get some tread wear. Your balancing is no longer going to be the same, and they are going to be jumping around a little bit. So your struts are going to have to cater for that and compensate for that. And this car is pretty sensitive to a worn strut. So anyway, they rejected my warranty claim. Even the retailer said, we are not prepared to deal with you. I then spoke to the owner of the shop of HiQ, and he basically shouted at me. He was swearing at me. He told me, go get your lawyer. I'm not interested. Your fight's not with us. I then said to him, but, you know, I would like you to fight on my behalf, your customer, because I got a 3-year warranty and I did not tamper with the struts. I didn't. And when I gave the struts to them, they didn't do an inspection in my presence and say, hey, there's these marks in the struts. I mean, maybe Super Quick made those marks when they took them off my car. Maybe they put them on there when they put the struts on my car. Maybe they put the marks there when they fitted them. I don't know. Anyway, the marks are there. I didn't put them there. And So I then had to go to the retail motor industry body, which is a body that they belong to. It's called the RMI, and we have to go through a process of mediation now, where I present my case and the retailer presents his case, and between us and the mediator, they try and find an amicable solution. Now, I did go to HiQ head office, who is the franchisor of HiQ. I went to them and they offered me 50% of the value of my struts and the labor and everything, and I turned it down because I said to them, you know, in the 2.5 months that I went through all this anguish of trying to figure out what was wrong with the car, I spent, well, almost 14,000 Rand, which is equivalent to around about $1,000, I guess, to remedy the problem. I replaced tires that didn't need replacing. I replaced wheels that didn't need replacing. I replaced my BBS wheels, which I didn't want to do. I loved those wheels. The RS6 wheels were just as nice, and I didn't want to get rid of those either because they really look nice on the car. And there's one of my videos where you'll see the cover photo. I've got those RS6 wheels in the car. Unfortunately, I only had them for like a week on the car, so there are no videos that I did with those wheels on the car. So I spent all that money, and now you guys expect me to take another 50% knock on the value of the struts that actually failed and caused all this unnecessary expense. I said, no, I'm not prepared to do that. If anything, I should be suing you guys for the 14,000 Rand I spent on needless tires and wheels. And there's all the gas I use driving back and forth. You know, it's 80 kilometers every single time. You know, I said, no, I'm not prepared to do that. I want the full value of the job, which was 4,600 Rand that I paid for these 4 struts, including labor, and I want that money back. And I can honestly say this, if the mediation's not going to go well, I know that, because the owner is such a jackass that he's going to say, he's not prepared to give me my money back. He's not prepared to take the shocks back. If his supplier doesn't want to stand by the warranty, he's not going to stand by it, and I must just take it and leave. Well, he fitted them to my car. He sold them to me, and I'm going to hold him responsible for it. And I'm not going to back down. So after the mediation next Monday morning is the mediation session, and when we walk out of that, I know he's basically just going to show me a finger. I'm then going to go through the next step of the process, which is arbitration, and the ombudsman of the motor industry will then make a ruling. And if he rules in my favor, which I'm sure he will, because I've got all the documentation to back everything up. I mean, these guys did not even record my car's mileage when they sold me the struts, but I had my car serviced at Audi Center literally 2 weeks after I fitted the struts. And you can check the date of their invoice of fitting my struts, and you can check the date on my car's service invoice and the mileage, and you can see, well, that's the mileage the car had on it in 2014, and this is the mileage it had on it in 2015, and this is the mileage the car's got on now. So you can see how much mileage I actually did with the car with those struts on my car, which in total was 12,700 kilometers, okay, which is equivalent to, what, 700 miles? So that's how much mileage I did. In fact, the front struts did 12,700 kilometers. The rear struts did a total of just over 7,200 kilometers. So they failed. And I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to accept this. The retailer can go fight with his supplier. I'm not interested in his supplier. That's his problem. He needs to look after me, his customer. And it's not just that. I haven't just taken my Audi to him. I've taken all my previous cars, my Cadillac, my Fox. They did tires on my Cadillac. They did struts on my Fox. They did the steering rack on my Fox. So I've supported them for many years, and this is how they're treating me now. And I'm really not impressed with this. And also the way that the owner of the company spoke to me the day I went to talk to him, he shouted at me in front of a whole bunch of customers. It was quite embarrassing. I eventually just turned around and I walked out. I wasn't going to get into an argument with him. When he started shouting, I thought, you know what, you can't reason with somebody who's shouting at you. They're not listening. You can't reason with somebody like that. When you're actually sitting down, you're talking like I'm talking now, you can listen to somebody and you can hear what they're saying, and you can then, respond. So anyway, after this, I'm going to go through, my cat's chasing a grasshopper. I'm going to go through arbitration, and if the ombudsman says, well, he's ruling in my favor, they have to pay me, and I know he still won't pay me. I'll have to then go to my attorney and then sue him to pay me. And then I'm going to sue him not only for the cost of the struts and not only for my legal expenses, but all the other costs that I incurred in trying to resolve this vibration, because it was their struts that caused me to go through all this crap and spend all this unnecessary money on this car, and even getting to the point where I wanted to scrap the car. I wanted to get rid of the car. I didn't want it anymore. I really didn't know what was wrong with it, and I thought it could be anything. A loose subframe. It could have been a loose. I thought loose engine mountings. So I didn't know. And so anyway, that's what I went through between February and May or early June with the Audi. And I'm very happy to say that now the car is driving great. I'm very happy with it. And I think I've learned a lot. My camera went dead on me. The memory card was full. Where was I? I guess we were talking about, CV joints. I replaced the CV joints in my car in, I think it was November last year. I did the CV joints. And I then found after 2 months, no, it wasn't November, it was before, it was November when I found out that they were making a noise again. So when I was taking a right-hand turn, I was doing a U-turn one day and I heard this cluck, cluck, cluck sound. And I thought, well, how could I be hearing this noise? Because I replaced the CV joints. So I took the car to Audi Center and I said to them, this is what the car's doing. And the guy said to me, that's CV joints. And I said, but I just put brand new CV joints on. You guys fitted them. And he said, well, I'm telling you now, it's the CV joints. So I didn't fit genuine Audi CV joints because, again, Audi Center or Audi wanted like $2,000. You couldn't buy the CV joint loose. You had to buy the whole drive shaft. So I said, no. I'd rather fit Pirate ones. If they last 4 years or 5 years, I'm happy with that. They're quite cheap and I'll replace them again. So I took the car. I took the car back to them. I went and bought new CV joints again at the same place. I bought new CV joints, exact same CV joints. I think they were WAG CV joints. I took them back. I had them replaced. Audi Center fitted them again, and then I took the CV joints that they took off the car. I took them back to the place where I bought them, and I said to them, "Here they are. They failed. This is the mileage my car did with them. Audi Center fitted them." And Audi Center have now fitted these again. And they did a warranty claim and I got my money back. And, they didn't even argue with me. They just said, we've got to fill in all these forms. We need the details of your car. The guy came out to my car, inspected my car. He looked at the VIN number. He took the mileage. And he still commented on how good my car is, how nice it is. And they did the warranty claim and I got my money back. But these guys, Haiku, when I took the shocks, the failed shocks to them, they didn't fill in any forms. They didn't record the mileage of my car. They didn't record the mileage of my car when they sold me or when they fitted the struts. So, and when I asked the guy, I said, okay, wait a minute. So you're not going to give me my money back right now. You first going to do a warranty claim and then you're going to let me know, I guess. And he said, yes, that's what they're going to do. So I said, okay. are there any forms that you need to fill in, like the details of my car? And he said no. And I thought, okay, so what are you going to give me to prove that you took my Struts? Because they currently belong to me. You know, I essentially did pay for them. You're not crediting me, so they don't belong to you. So what are you going to give me? And you know what they gave me? They gave me an IOU, a little piece of paper, literally written on, we so-and-so hereby testify that customer so-and-so has given us 4 Struts from invoice number so-and-so and invoice number so-and-so. That's what I got. I got an IOU when they did a warranty claim on the Struts. So already there, alarm bells were ringing, and I was thinking to myself, this cannot be right. And I don't think this is going to go very good for me. I don't think it's going to go well. And it didn't. So needless to say, I'm running uphill right now with this issue, and I'm going to fight it. It's not a matter of the case of, it's not even the money. It's a case of the owner treated me like crap, and it's now a matter of principle. You know, any business that's in business, I mean, I'm an accountant, so, you know, any business, financially or otherwise, really has to run itself and govern itself on the basis of good human morals and ethics. And as far as I'm concerned, that business, that owner, does not run his business based on good morals or ethics. He shouts at his customers and treats them like dirt, and he doesn't honor the warranty that he gave his customer. He wants to blame his customer for something that his customer has no control over. I mean, I don't have control over them having fitted those Struts to my car. They could have put those marks on the thing. They could have put them there when they fitted the Struts. I don't know that. I don't know if the guys who removed the Struts off the car at Super Quick, if they put the marks there, maybe they put a vice grip on the thing. I don't know. I didn't even have a vice grip. Maybe they put the marks there. I don't know. And maybe they put the marks there after I gave the Struts back to them when they gave me the IOU to do the warranty claim. Maybe these guys decided, well, gee, how did these things fail so quickly? Let's check if they did in fact fail. And maybe they put it on a vice or whatever they call this thing to check if they failed. And it's not something that I can control. They did not inspect the Struts in my presence when I gave them the Struts to them. So I don't know if they put those marks there after I gave them the Struts back. So for the owner not to give me the benefit of the doubt and to just say, well, you know, the claim is rejected and you're going to, you know, just suck it up, basically. That's what he's saying. So I have to basically suck up, I mean, including the cost of the Struts. We're talking around about $2,000 here, okay, that it costs me to solve this vibration. Whereas if I'd known it was the Struts from the start, it wouldn't have cost so much money. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's not about the money. It's getting very hot in here now. It's not about the money. It's actually about the morals and ethics of this company, and I want to show them that when you run a company, you have to run it with some good ethics in place. And I guess, judging from the way the owner spoke to me, I'm really not surprised that his company runs the same way as what he actually thinks mentally. So anyway, that's an update on my Audi, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, share, and I hope you enjoy the video that I'm going to post on the Jag. It's a little shorter than this one. This one was a bit longer, and I apologize for that. I'm going to try and edit it, so it hopefully will be shorter. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'm going to do a video on the Jag's bumper removal in the near future, replacing the grille on the Jag. So thanks for watching.